everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a hot minute, so sorry about that. It's been just a busy time. But anyway, with Halloween very fast approaching, today I thought it would be really fun to talk about some of my all-time favorite books about my favorite topic, which is witches. I have always had a fascination with witches. I don't know what it is, and especially since I've gotten back into reading, it has just really just skyrocketed. So with me are a bunch of books that involve witches that are some of my all-time favorites, and I thought I would talk about them in case you want any last minute reads for Halloween, or if you want to kind of keep this in mind for next year. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right on into it. So the first book that I have is Twin Crowns. This is by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Weber, and this is actually the first book in either a 3-book trilogy or a 4-book series. I'm not quite sure exactly, but this is the only book that I've read from this series. So yeah, so this book follows a set of twin girls. One was raised as a full witch and one was raised as a princess, and she never knew about her witch background. So right before the girl's 18th birthday, the one that was raised as a witch ends up switching places with the girl that was raised as a princess, so that way the girl that was raised as a witch could get more rights for witches in their kingdom, and then the girl who was raised as a princess could learn more about her background and witches in general. So this book was kind of marketed as a Princess and the Pauper kind of retelling, and I definitely can understand why that may be. It definitely has those vibes, especially with the two girls that were separated and you know, switching lives and that kind of thing. And I absolutely loved this book. I read it last spring and it was so good, and I have the second book and I need to read it. I just haven't yet. Story of my life, I'm telling you. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed both girls' point of views because it switches back and forth each chapter between the girl who was raised as a witch and then the girl who was raised as a princess, and it was just really fun seeing both of their perspectives. And this was definitely a really great first book in the series. It really kind of built the world in a way that was very intriguing. I felt like both of the characters also had really great stories, and I'm just really excited to read the rest of the series eventually. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but you know, it's fine. I can't talk about witchy books without mentioning my probably favorite witchy series, and that is the Witch Lore series by Hazel Beck. So these are the 3 books that I have read so far. I actually just finished the 3rd one just a couple of days ago, and that is Small Town Big Magic, which is the first book, Big Little Spells, which is the second book, and then Truly Madly Magically, which is the 3rd book. This is a series about a group of witches that live in a fake city in Missouri, and it is basically about them being witches and trying to defeat this coven that is not good, pretty much. That's the overarching storyline, and each story has a different narrator. The first book we follow Emerson, who is the oldest sister, and then in the next book we follow her sister Rebecca, and then in the 3rd book we follow Elowen, which is the best friend of Rebecca. And but all 3 of these have a really awesome love story. All 3 of the partners are really great, and each story is so different, and yet it's such a great book, and it really it's just such a great series. I love it. It has become one of my favorites, and I talk about these books all the time. I know I do, but they're just so good, and not a lot of people read or talk about them, and I just feel like they need more attention. So there's that. But yeah, read the Witch Lore series. It's fantastic. Start with the Small Town Big Magic. That is the first book, and yeah, I love them. All right, next up is a book that I've actually read twice, and the author of this book is actually going to be releasing a new book on Tuesday, which is the day after my birthday, because my birthday is tomorrow when I am filming this. So I think that is the most perfect like birthday gift to me, and that is In the Shadow Garden by Liz Parker. So this follows a family who are witches, and it's very much like Encanto, where they grow like different kinds of produce, and they also make tea to kind of help with people's like emotion and anxieties and that kind of thing. And then they have a rival family who owns a bourbon factory or brewery or whatever that's called. And they're kind of competing over land, pretty much. This is a great book. I have both read it and reread it and annotated it. I love the writing. I think for it being Liz Parker's debut novel, it was fantastic. And her newest book, The Witches of Honeysuckle, is coming out, like I said, this upcoming Tuesday when I am filming this. And I am so excited. So yeah, this is a great book. I love the cover. It's one of my favorite covers ever. And I just think that this is just such a great book. I love the rival families. I love this overarching mystery, you know, and the twist at the end, you don't see coming. And I honestly it even shocked me like during my reread, because I kind of forgot exactly what happened. So even like during the reread, I was like, wait, what? Huh? Yeah. So I totally recommend this book. It's a great witchy book if you're not wanting something super spooky or scary, and you're just wanting something that's just more like fun. But yeah, this is a great book. This book here is probably the most well-known witchy book out there, and that is of course The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This is about a woman by the name of Micah, I'm not really sure, and she is a witch. And in this like book and in this world, witches have to pretty much be completely hidden from society. They're not allowed to really mingle with even each other. So Micah has lived a very kind of lonely life and is just wanting somebody to talk to, pretty much, and wants to have relationships with people. And you know, she gets the opportunity when a man is like, hey, I adopted these 3 little sisters that are all witches, so can you come and train them and make them like, you know, good witches? And she is like, yeah, sure. And it ends up being like the sweetest, most wonderful found family story. I'm a sucker for found family. We all know this. I love a good found family book. It is so good. There's this one scene during this book, and they're just like Micah and like the 3 sisters are just like cuddled up together in like her bed, and it is just the most heartwarming and sweetest little scene ever, and I just love it so much. It's a great book, and my dog is barking, so we're just gonna ignore that. But anyway, yeah, this is a very well-known book on bookish social media, and there's a good reason why, because it's fantastic. The writing's amazing. I do have Sangu Mandana's other book, which is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. I haven't read it yet, but I plan on it, and I am very excited to read her other book. But yeah, if you haven't read this yet, do yourself a favor and read it, because it is so good. All right, next up I'm going to kind of highlight an author more than a book itself. So the author's name is Rachel Griffin, and she is kind of known to write a lot of different witchy books. All 3 of her books that she has come out with so far are about witches, and they're all very different, but my favorite out of the 3 is Wild as the Witch by her. It is basically about a girl who is a witch who kind of lives on this animal reservation kind of place where they basically like help take care of animals, and she has this owl. I think it's an owl, that she has to take care of, and through a series of unfortunate magical events, the owl escapes, and she ends up having to go on a camping trip with her work enemy to try and bring it back. It's great. It was a 5-star read for me. I binged the audiobook in like 3 days, I think, which is very, very fast for me. I'm normally even with audiobooks, it usually takes me a while to get through. So this was such a fun, sweet read. I loved it. If you like The Phoenix Keeper, that book, if you like that book, I definitely think that you would really like this book as well, because it gives very similar vibes. And I don't know, I just really love this book. I loved the relationship. I loved kind of the nature aspect of it, which I thought was really fun. And it's just a fun, quick little read, and it's just really cute and really fun, and I would recommend it. All right, next up is a book that it's kind of become my annual thing to read this book pretty much every year during this time of year, and that is of course Cackle by Rachel Harrison. I love this book. I've talked about this book a lot. The book was actually in my all-time favorites video that I just posted right before this one, and I love it. It's about this woman by the name of Annie who she went through a very bad breakup recently, and she decided that she needed a change, so she decides to move to this small town in upstate New York and ends up meeting Sophie, who is a very eclectic character, and she ends up finding out that things about Sophie and herself are very different than she ever could have imagined. I love this book. Like I said, I've read it 3 times now, and I just think it's a wonderful book, especially for this time of year. And I just love it. I talk about it a lot, you know, on this channel, and for good reason. You know, it's a great book. I don't really hear that many people talking about it like too much, and I feel like that needs to change. Also, if you like unusual pets that end up kind of becoming companions, this is also a great book for that. If you know, you know. But yeah, I always will recommend Cackle. And the last witchy book that I am recommending is actually a new read. I just finished this, I think earlier this month actually, and that is Spells for Lost Things by Jenna Evans Welch. This is a story about Willow as well as Mason, and both of their lives have been kind of turned upside down. Willow, her parents got divorced, and her mom moved pretty much on the other side of the country from her dad. And her mom is very much a workaholic. She doesn't really get to spend a lot of time with her, and Mason is a foster child, and his mom has pretty much gone MIA. He has not seen his mom in like several years, and he just wants to try and find her, which is completely like understandable. So through the course of different events, they end up meeting in Salem, Massachusetts, which, if that is not the most perfect setting for a witchy book, I don't know what is. Maybe like London, or like, I don't know. But honestly, this was like so good. I mean, is it the most witchiest of witchy books? No. But it's still such a great book. It's great for people who kind of have a strained relationship with like somebody in their family. It's also really good for people who kind of just want to know that they have a place in this world. And I loved this. It was a very sweet book. It's a very fun book. I loved the side characters, especially the aunts. I thought that they were hilarious. And it was just such a fun book, and I am so glad that I finally read it, because I actually got this book like back in December of like 2023, and knowing that I finally read it, it's like I am sad that I waited so long. honestly. But I'm really glad that I did finally get to read it, and I totally recommend this for anybody who's wanting a fun YA book that takes place in a fun setting and isn't too witchy but is witchy enough. So that concludes my video. I do have a few other witchy books that I have read, but these are the ones that really have stuck out to me, and I always love a good witchy book. So if you have any witchy recommendations, please leave them in the comments down below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.